Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmad Nawaz. A lot to discuss. Pakistan up against West Indies in the first test match ended in not what decision we would have wanted to, in not the result that we preferred. It was West Indies who won by just 1 wicket. It was an exciting encounter. I also said it on social media that I don't care who wins right now, but this is why we love Test cricket. But at the end of the day, once you get to know the result and somewhere down the line you would feel a bit disappointed that Pakistan probably could have done much better, because this was probably not that of a difficult wicket, as the Pakistani batsmen just couldn't negotiate the West Indian pace attack, and I'm particularly talking about Keema, Roach and Shields. I think a lot has to be said about Pakistan's batting lineup. The reliance on Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan has got to end now, and that being said, Rizwan and Babar are also in their 30s and 50s. I said it the other day that the batsmen need to now know the importance of converting their half centuries and their 30s into big runs in Test cricket. Similarly, like we saw in England, Joe Root stood out, scored 180 not out. This is what you need from one of your batsmen. That's how you play Test cricket. And I won't blame the conditions that much. That being said, I think fielding really let us down in the second innings. Babar Azam also accepted that in his post-match press conference. And a lot has to be said. Maybe Hassan Ali could have been replaced by Mohammad Abbas in those final couple of overs. Abbas is good against the tail-enders, gets the ball to nip back as well. So, a lot can be said. But at the end of the day, it's West Indies who deserve the congratulation, because they won a test match against a quality Pakistan side. I won't say this is not a quality side. This is. So we'll be discussing all about that. After that, we'll be moving on to the Kashmir Premier League. In tonight's show, we'll be discussing that the lineup is now being completed. We're heading towards the final. It's been some good qualifiers and eliminators that we've seen, and we know that Muzaffarabad Tigers is the first team to qualify for the final. Overseas Warriors just couldn't make it when it came to their eliminator. They were eliminated courtesy of Mirpur Royals, and it was Shoaib Malik under his captaincy. The team got through to eliminators as well. So all about that in tonight's show. We'll be discussing that. It will be Rawalakot Hawks now facing Mirpur Royals for a place in the finals to face Muzaffarabad Tigers. Time now to start our segments. First of all, we've been joined in studios by cricket commentator, cricket expert, and he'll really have a lot to say, because he is as much as disappointed as I am. He's none other than Mr. Kashif Shabbir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you, Kashif?
Alhamdulillah, all
good to have you on the show. We've also been joined by senior cricket commentator, cricket expert, somebody who really loves Test cricket, but I think would be a bit fussy about the way Pakistan has handled things. Leena Aziz. Assalamu alaikum, Leena. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Hope everyone's well. Of course, we're all disappointed, but there's a lot to say, like you said. But yeah, we'll keep saying it as the program goes further.
Kashif, what did you think went wrong?
Sheer disappointment yet once again for Pakistan. I think it was an even-Steven performance both from West Indies and Pakistan. On the books, Pakistan was a better side. Pakistan should have won this match, but unfortunately they could not negotiate the wicket. You very rightly mentioned they were very upset by the wicket, the way the wicket behaved. I think the wicket was difficult, but the bowling was not that difficult for Pakistan, because Roach and Seals, they were not as difficult bowlers as of the other country. But nonetheless, Pakistani batsmen did not perform well. I think the bowlers, they came up to the occasion. They performed very well. They bowled exceptionally well, because defending 168 was not a big target for the bowlers, but yet they took it to the last wicket.
They tried their best.
And then, a few missed chances. The catch was dropped by Hassan Ali, Mohammad Abbas, and I think that was also bad luck for Pakistan. But the point to take out from this was exceptional fielding from Imran Butt. I think he's an excellent find for Pakistan as far as the fielding is concerned. But then again, a big question mark for the batting. The openers, Pakistan is again finding it difficult to find good openers for Pakistan. So I think overall it was a disappointment for Pakistan. Pakistan should have won.
Definitely a disappointment. Leena Aziz, I understand that we are disappointed, and we would believe in consistency, as we always have, that we need to give our guys consistency. But giving them consistency is not a requirement when it comes to their technical flaws or their mental blocks. Your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, I'd start my whole argument by something that Ian Bishop said on commentary. He said that the bowlers should be paid much more money to play cricket because A, they bowl so much, they take wickets, they win you matches, and also they do half of the work of the batsman. I mean, whatever work the batsman cannot do, or when batsmen underperform, the bowlers always come and score their runs. Also, a prime example of that would be 28 runs innings by Hassan Ali. And he has been doing that for a long time, and the tail enders coming to the party when the batsmen haven't been performing. With Pakistan, it is an old tale. It is a very old tale of woes of the Pakistani batsmen, and and it is so funny, and they have so much luck. The whole luck of the world falls in the Pakistani batsmen's laps, because what's happened is that end of the day, when Pakistan loses, and we have been losing from a long time. I mean, occasionally we win, and that's not great. I mean, we're number 5 test match 2016. We were the numbers one side. So occasionally when we win against the minnows like Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka also I'd call minnows now. And Zimbabwe. Our favorite side, of course, is Zimbabwe. We love thrashing them. And of course, then we have Bangladesh. We win against them also. But when comes the big sides, the slightly bigger sides, even West Indies is number 7 ranked, we cannot win. And that is because our batsmen can't read the situation. Batsmen like Babar Azam overnight has a 50, cannot come and make more runs in the morning. Batsmen like Rizwan, who's been playing fantastically well, cannot make a few runs. Similarly, the opening has woes. These batsmen are openers. I mean, the way Abid Ali was flashing, I mean, is that how openers play? That is how the openers, their game is supposed to be tight, close to the body, close to under the eyes. They need to play, and they need to leave well. And he was flashing like he's playing 100 or something. So we've got a lot of problems and selection problems, etc., etc. But for this, I would salute our bowlers for putting up the performance that they did. They almost defended 168. Had it not been, those drop catches, we would have won. And once again, the mistakes, I would say, of the batsmen would have been brushed under the carpet. But the thing is, we should not brush them under the carpet, and we should look at the fault of their temperaments. Babar Azam, such a big name, captain of the country, yet he could not read the situation. They can't read the situation. Their temperaments are bad. They're just, not good enough at this level, I would say.
It does seem so. I mean, not good enough does seem so. That might be the right word. Kashif, do you think that maybe more of a defensive approach has cost us? Because if I look at the majority of wickets, then apart from what Azhar Ali did, being bowled down the leg side, just didn't realize that the ball's in swinging. Apart from that, if I look at majority of the wickets, then they've just thrown their bat and they've been caught behind, or they've failed to pull the ball, something like that. So maybe if Pakistan learns that modern day test cricket requires you to be a bit positive. I mean, if you've got a short ball, you can pull it. If you've got something outside the off stump, try to drive it instead of just throwing your bat.
I think initially when the Pakistani batsmen, they saw those green patches on the wicket, I think that is where the problem started. And as Leena was mentioning about Imran, but that he was flashing outside the off stump, maybe that was the reason, because he wanted to overcome that temperament problem, that pressure problem. He wanted to overcome that problem, but unfortunately he could not. Yes, definitely Pakistani batsmen, they were not positive. They were too much on the defensive side. Look at Babar Azam. He was playing on 50, but yet he could not strike the ball. His favorite shot was dry, but he could not drive the ball. All the short pitch deliveries, they were just blocking those deliveries. They were not offensive on the shots. They were not positive. They were not trying to score runs, because end of the day, you need runs to defend to defend your team. So that positive nature was missing in the Pakistani squad. I think the selection of the team was quite good, because in the last program we were talking about 2 spinners to be included in the side. But I think after looking at the pitch, the selectors, they made the right choice. But unfortunately, Yasir Shah could not pay off. He could not bowl that well. But the burden of the bowling was taken by Shaheen Shah Afridi, Hassan Ali and Mohammad. They all bowled exceptionally well. And Fahim Ashraf, he also bowled pretty well. But I think Pakistani bowlers, they need some score, some runs under the belt so that they can defend their target. But unfortunately, that was not given. So I think overall, the batsmen need to be, you know, tamed well. More temperament need to be improvised in the Pakistani side because they need to score runs. And I think maybe one day or the other we'll have to bring some hitter in the test side. Maybe Sharjeel, maybe Fakhar Alam.
Do you think we're missing a batting coach right now?
If you talk about the coach, I think the overall structure is faulty for Pakistan. We need proper coaches, the coaches who can give that modern technique to the Pakistani batsmen. You were talking about modern technique. So that modern technique is missing in the Pakistani squad. We need to figure it out. And sometimes I think that maybe we have to go back to the orthodox style of cricket. All the players maybe Pakistan should have 1 or 2 teams, that's it. Because all these players, they need more match practice. I think they are out of that match practice because we normally do not have these many test matches because Fawad Alam is playing after New Zealand series, so there's a big gap in between the 2 series. So I think that is also missing. So overall, I think Pakistani batsmen need to improve their technique. The technique is missing in the Pakistani squad. We can have a very easy comparison of England, India, Pakistan, West Indies. As I said, West Indies team is not a very good team. It is a team that can be easily beaten by Pakistan. But look, we could not negotiate the bowler like Holder. We were very upset against Seals, the youngest bowler for West Indies who took 5 wickets. So we are giving all these, you know, incentives and all these rewards and medals to the opponents. So we need to rethink about it. Maybe the selectors need to, you know, have some players who can negotiate, who can strike the ball well in the test squad.
Leena, in the past, you know, I want to realize this scenario that if we leave out Australia, New Zealand, England, South Africa, then apart from these 4 countries, wherever Pakistan has played, it has been primarily the spinners who have won us test cricket. Yasir Shah was the hero in the last time Pakistan was playing in the Caribbean, in which they won the series. We all remember that famous last wicket in the final over of the day. This time, Yasir is inclusion, and it's not this time. Even if I go a couple of series back, I really see Yasir Shah struggling. I will believe what Kashif said, that maybe lack of test cricket is causing this, but at the same time, they had an option of playing a equally experienced spinner in the likes of Noman Ali, who could have batted well as well. So do you think that, you know, first we lost an off spinner when Saeed Admin was taken away. Abdur Rahman, Zulfikar Babar were tried and tested and then let go. Yasir Shah, although a leg spinner, is pretty expensive when it comes to cricket, but can become a crucial aspect of your game if he's skilled enough. But that skill level for Yasir is becoming a bit rusty now.
You know, a leg spinner, Ahmad, is always a captain's bowler. Yasir Shah used to do well as under Misbah because Misbah had a lot of confidence in him. Abdul Qadir did well under Imran Khan because Imran Khan had a lot of confidence in him. And then Shane Warne did well under Steve Waugh and Mark Taylor because both those captains had a lot of confidence. In this particular test match, I thought Yasir Shah was underused. He wasn't trusted. He wasn't given the bowling, so much. He wasn't given enough overs under the belt. And like Kashif was saying, many of these test cricketers are rusty. So they need to be trusted by the captain. And in Yasir's case, he wasn't trusted. And he wasn't used enough to give him that kind of confidence. Then, there is a talk of the technique. Of course, we talk about playing late. Talk about playing under the eyes. We talk about taking advantage of the, over pitch delivery or the short delivery, cutting it and pulling it if it's a bit straight and driving the ball if it's in your arc. But our defensive approach makes us score runs at about 2.5 runs per over at the most. If we want to do well against better sides, then we need to score at 3.15 or 3.25 per over. And at least 3 runs, to do well. And we get into this shell. Our batsmen get into this shell because we don't play enough test cricket. Now, whose fault is that? Let me take it right to the top. it is the fault of the PCB. We only play 6 to 8 maximum test matches, and half of them are against the minnows. So it is the job of the PCB to do networking with other cricket boards, and like England, like New Zealand, and like India. They play 17, 18 test match. At least if we can't play 17, 18, we should be playing 11, 12 test matches a year. So the fault goes right at the top, and then it comes to the players themselves. They're not ready and prepared. I salute players like Azhar Ali and Fawad Alam. Fawad got a 50 in this match in spite of being rusty, and I can bet you anything. And I'm great at winning bets, by the way. I can bet you anything that the next game Azhar Ali is also going to score runs, because both those guys have got great international experience and first class experience in case of Fawad Alam. So we've got to look at these small things. Also, the openers, I think we would have to change them, but the change itself won't do anything. We will have to see which openers are going to be doing well for Pakistan. A lot of people are talking about Shan Masood. His average is 29, but he's worked in South Africa last year, and maybe if there's no Anderson, he can do well. So there is an argument of including him, and I would select Imamul Haq, with him. Okay, both left-handers, and if we can find some opener from the domestic, a right-hander, then maybe a left-right combination. What happens in a left-right combination is that the bowling side is always confused. The left-hander takes a single, the right-hander comes on a strike, and then the whole field has to change. So there is always confusion. So a left-right combination would be great, but if you can't find it, for the time being, we can find two left-handers. Pakistan has been great in the past with two left-handers, Amir Sohail and Saeed Anwar. So the problem starts right at the top. And then when, Pakistan's like 10 for 10, we're 2 down, then obviously a lot of pressure comes on Azhar and on Babar, and then Fawad, and then also Rizwan. So we've got to see that at least 60% of the matches, the opener should give us a start of 40, 45, 50 runs. Once, you get a start of 50 runs, and everything falls into place. And like you said, the batsmen have to give the bowlers enough runs under their belt to fight. 168 is not good. That's why in the beginning I said I'll salute them. Yet they almost won us the match if those catches weren't dropped. That catch by Abbas wouldn't have been dropped. We would have won. But the thing is that our problem is not our fielding, and it's not our bowling. The problem is our batting, and why that keeps last 40 years. What's happening to our batting? Ever since people like Javed Miadad and Majid Khan and Zahir Abbas and Mudassar Nazar, they've retired, we haven't got a stable batting lineup. In the middle, in the last few years, the last 10-15 years, we did have two good batsmen in the shape of Misbah and Yunus, and then the whole batting lineup revolved around them. So we've got to see how that can be done. And the other good point that you raised, both of you raised, is about the coaching. We have to, I'm not going to mince any words, we do not need Pakistani coaches. We need foreign coaches. Someone like an Andy Flower. That is what I'm saying.
That's what Kashif said as well, and I think that's a very important point to mention here, because as much as Misbah has been successful for Pakistan cricket, it's been not in the domain of coaching, because coaching is a completely different art. It's completely different. I mean, you need to have an expert who probably knows those its and bits, who can work with players individually, bring in his team, use technology that is available, video analysis and everything. I think these are things that PCB really need to think upon, because if they keep on stretching Misbah's contract, then things might get even tougher for Pakistan cricket. Kashif, why invest so much in Shan Masood and Imamul Haq if they're not in our plans anymore?
See, again, we are doing the same mistake. After one loss of series, we are changing our openers. I always say that we need to be persistent about the openers. We need to give quality time, more time to the opener, because this is a very, very difficult position for an opener. And if you are not giving that confidence to the openers will not play well. We always talk about Amir Sohail and Saeed Anwar, but remember, they had a span of 1 or 2 years together, And on many occasions they failed. But still, Imran Khan was persistent with these two openers, and that is why these two openers were polished and they were the best openers for Pakistan. And another important thing was that at that time, these openers were the openers for the test matches and for the one-day cricket both. So we need to be very sure about the opening pair. In my opinion, if you ask me, I think we should give them fair chance, these openers.
A couple of series.
Absolutely. A couple of series would not be fair again. At least 4 or 5 series to these openers. And once you are comfortable and you are sure that these openers, they are not fit enough, then just remove them and just do not select them anytime. Just give them that opportunity. This is the mistake that we did with Shah Masood, because Shah Masood was playing very well, but he missed one series. We just eliminated him from the opening squad. So, the second point is the middle order batting for Pakistan. That is very important. That is where the actual problem is. We do not have the backbone for Pakistan. We do not have the anchor person who can anchor the inning. We are relying more on Babar Azam. Babar Azam is a very good player. He's an international quality player, but he need to understand.
Kashif, do you think Asad Shafiq's exit was called for, or do you think even that was rushed a bit?
Maybe it was again too early for Asad Shafiq to be left out of the series. But when it came to the national side, the Qazi Trophy, he did not perform well in the Qazi Trophy as well. So I think that decision was justified to some extent. But coming back to Babar Azam, I think Babar Azam has an additional pressure of captaincy, and that is why he is not performing that well. We need a match winner in the Pakistani team, and that we do not have. Sometimes we are looking for Fawad Alam, sometimes we are eyeing on Azhar Ali, Babar Azam. So we need to pinpoint one player as a match winner. If you go back in the history, Javed Miandad was a match winner. Salim Malik was a match winner, full stop. We always knew that we can rely on these batsmen. Now, if we both are discussing about Pakistani team, can we rely on a batsman? We cannot even rely on Babar Azam to be a batsman who can perform well. In the match against England, I'm again talking about England and India. Root, he was the anchor person. He's one man whom you can rely upon. So that figure should be pointed out for Pakistan. I think initially I have always been talking about Azhar Ali as a captain. I think we removed Azhar Ali from the captaincy quite early. If that position was given to Azhar Ali, and Babar Azam could have been given more time to mature himself as a player, as a captain, I think that would have been a better decision for Pakistan. Remember Tendulkar? He was the best batsman, but when the captaincy pressure came on Tendulkar, he could not perform well. So he quit the captaincy and gave that to Dravid and became the best batsman. So I think that formula need to be adopted for Pakistan, because we need a player who can perform well. We can have many other captains, but that performance. And when we talk about Yasir Shah, yes, Yasir Shah was under-bowled by Babar Azam. I think Babar Azam did not have that confidence on Yasir Shah. Secondly, because we did not have those many runs to play against.
No,
so I think that was the reason why Yasir Shah was not given the full opportunity. Maybe in the first innings he could have been given that opportunity.
Right.
But I think the main focus of this match is that the performance of Pakistani batsmen were not good. Even if they have won this match, I would say again, the performance need to be recalculated by the management. They need to think about it. And if there are green patches on the wicket, that is where the management comes into play, because they need to give that confidence to the batsman that yes, this is a green wicket, but still you can play. Look at the opposition. You don't have those quality bowlers available within the opposition, but still you are trembling and you are falling down. So I think that is where the management skills are lacking. That is why we talk about those foreign coaches, because those foreign coaches, they are working on the technique, they are working on the mental capability, they are grooming the player. That grooming part is missing in the Pakistani squad. That needs to be done.
Definitely. That being said, Leena, Aziz, your final thoughts. Do you see any changes in the next test match?
Yeah, well, I'll agree with Kashif about the captaincy bit. I mean, it was too early to give Babar the captaincy, put him under that kind of pressure. If not Azhar, then maybe Rizwan could have been given the test captaincy. But the other thing about the openers, I don't agree, because Abid has been opening for Pakistan from quite a while now, and the only sides he's scored against are the 3 minnows that I mentioned earlier, and I don't think so those are any performances.
Right.
When comes the big side, he cannot score. And then the other thing is you have an eye. When you have an eye, you can see that Imran Butt is a great slip fielder, but he's not going to work in the long run against quality bowlers when he's opening on dicey pitches where there's going to be grass or
Definitely,
where
Leena.
there's going to
Final
be
thoughts?
spin.
Any changes you'd like to see in the second line?
No, I mean, just in a two-test match series, I don't see any changes. If you want to rest a fast bowler, I like to see Dhani in, but that kind of risk is not going to be taken by Misbah and Co.
Right, definitely. Leena, Aziz and Kashif, thank you so much for joining us. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you. That being said, we sincerely hope that Pakistan is able to clinch the second test match and at least save the series. Now, moving on to our next segment, that is, of course, the Kashmir Premier League. And like I said, we've got the first finalist in the likes of Muzaffarabad Tigers. But what happened in the eliminator was also something to very keenly analyze. Let's go watch this report by the team of Sports Extra and then come back.
Mirpur Royals downed Overseas Warriors by 4 wickets in the Eliminator 1 to qualify for the second eliminator of the Kashmir Premier League at Muzaffarabad Cricket Stadium on Sunday. Mirpur Royals won the toss and chose to bowl first against the Overseas Warriors. The Warriors failed to get off to a positive start and lost their first 3 wickets for just 31 inside power play. Azam Khan scored quick 20 of 13 while Khurram Manzoor lost his wicket for just 15, with the team being into further trouble. Salman rescued his side as he scored a much-needed half-century to help his side cross 150 with some help of Ruman Rais. The second right-hand scored 59 off just 26 balls and added 8 fours and 3 sixes in his outstanding knock that helped Warriors post 160 on the board. Shadab Majid got 4 wickets for 45, while Salman Irshad and Samin Gul also got 2 wickets each. Mukhtar Ahmed and Sharjeel Khan got off to a positive start, while they later produced another 41 runs partnership alongside Mohammad on the second wicket. When Sharjeel got out for 30 off 17 in the 8th over, Royals had reached 76, having lost 3 top-order batsmen. Shoaib Malik produced a 45 runs stand alongside Hassan Khan, who got out for 20 off 15 in the 13th over. By this time, the team had reached 121. Khushdil Shah's 21 off 8 with 2 fours in maximums made the job easy for the skipper Shoaib Malik, who remained not out for 27 off 34. Royals reached 162 in the last over. Sohail Khan sent 2 batsmen back to the pavilion. With this, Royals chased Warriors' target of 161 on the 4th delivery of the 19th over and qualified for the second eliminator. The young Kashmiri pacer Shadab Majid was declared man of the match.
There you have it. It's going to be Rawalakot Hawks and Mirpur Royals battling each other just to make a place in the final against Muzaffarabad Tigers. Now, to talk more on the Kashmir Premier League, we've been joined by cricket expert, none other than Mr. Syed Mohammad Owais. Owais, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. How are you, Ahmad bhai?
I'm very good, Owais. First of all, a belated happy birthday to you from the team of Sports Extra. We know that you've been busy, but certainly some good wishes your way. How exciting has the Kashmir Premier League been for you?
First of all, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. It has been a brilliant one, Ahmad bhai. Especially, I would say, the Kashmiri local talent has been an eye-catcher for everyone around the world. If you just give an example of Zaman Khan or the guy who's playing right now for Rawalakot Hawks, I mean, Kashif, he has been going exceptionally well. So it has been an eye-catcher for many Kashmiri youngsters who actually are trying the level best to play competitive cricket, and it has been a brilliant one for them. And especially if you just say about the Kashmir Premier League, I remember when it was not started yet, many of them, even I had the things that it won't be a successful unit because it's not that what Pakistan Super League is, because you have a league over there. But this has made a remark over here. The way it has been going on, and especially the crunch matches, what you have seen in last 4 to 5 days, it has been a superb tournament, an eye-catcher for everyone around the world.
Owais, how well has the facility of the Muzaffarabad Cricket Stadium lived up to the expectation of this league? How well have the curators performed in making wickets that have really provided equal amount of opportunities for the bowlers and the batsmen?
Ahmad bhai, I just want to make some clarification over here, because many of the, I would say, the general public had the questions about this, that we don't see many spectators in the stadium because it's unfortunate, due to the COVID-19 arise again. They have made some rules and regulation that only, I think so, 20 or 15% crowd is allowed in the stadium. Secondly, about the curator, I remember when the Kashmir Premier League started on, The pitches were a little bit slow. It was not easy to bat on. The ball was coming a little bit slow on the wicket. But as the time passed on, if you just watch it, the curators, especially the groundsmen, because it has been off and on, rain has been going on. They have done a superb job over here. And if you just watch it now, you can see that the teams are scoring around 234 today and 200 plus runs, and even they are getting a little bit chased on too. So it's a good job done by the curators and by the groundsmen, and especially by the KPL management, I would say.
Owais, the Kashmir talent has really been given a stage and they have been given opportunities as well. Do you think that it's great for the region of Kashmir? I mean, if we talk about some finds of the KPL, then in particular, if we look at Zaman Khan, then one really, gets a lot of encouragement seeing him bowl and knowing that he is representing his region.
Ahmad bhai, it's an honor for me to say that he's one of the finds from our academy, what we own, which we have even visited back in Mirpur. And I remember when he was 14 or 15 years of age, so there was when it was the first edition of Multan Sultan, there was an exhibition match where we had taken him over there to play for Wasim 11. There's the point where he made a mark when he was bowling to Shoaib Malik and Imran Nazir, and he's played for under-19 cricket too of Pakistan, and he has made his mark in the Kashmir Premier League too. I mean, with his pace, with his bowling, the way he has been doing on, and the one thing what I loved about his team was that Lala has been backing him up, because of like a senior campaigner like Lala, an experienced campaigner, I would say, when he backs a youngster, it's a big feeling for him. And the main thing about this Kashmiri people, what I loved was that whether if it's our team, Overseas Warriors, anything, the main thing what I loved was that they are sharing the rooms with the greats of the cricket. I mean, they are learning actually from them how to be in the dressing room, how to be in the pressure situation. So it has been a great experience for the youngsters, and especially the youngsters like Zaman Khan. Again, I would request from a platform that the Pakistan Cricket Board really now to really need to think about this youngsters of Kashmir too. I mean, they are capable, they have got everything. It's just that grooming them for the highest level.
Definitely. As we talk about the match tonight, we've got Rawalakot Hawks versus Mirpur Royals. On the inning break, they have scored 236 for 4. Sharjeel Khan 141 of 63 deliveries, Akhlaq 29, Mukhtar 21, and Zaman 2 for 18 for Rawalakot Hawks. He's picked up those 2 wickets. Very tough for Rawalakot Hawks. Muzaffarabad have really made it to the final courtesy of Hafiz finding form at the right time. Do you think Mirpur now have the upper hand with 200 plus runs in an eliminator?
It's not going to be an easy task, I mean, because when you have 200 plus runs, if I'm not, it's 234, and you have to chase on. It's not going to be an easy task for Rawalakot, because if I'm not wrong, they're 4 or 5 down at the score of 80 something. So it's going to be a tough score for Rawalakot Hawks. But one thing, Ahmad bhai, I'll tell, because I remember when the league started on. So for me, 3 teams were favorite. One was the Muzaffarabad Tigers. I had Rawalakot Hawks, and one was, for me, it was Bagh Stallions, not Mirpur Royals, I would say. But Mirpur Royals gradually have come back into the form, and it's a danger side for every team, I would say. The way they have performed, they are back late in the form. Sharjeel Khan, especially the way he performed today. Shoaib Malik, how the way he has been performing on Khushdil Shah, especially, I would say. So it's an alarming situation, even for if from here, for Muzaffarabad Tigers too. I know Muzaffarabad Tigers have been doing an exceptional job, the way Hafiz bhai has been leading them with the bat, with the captaincy. But still, I say that Mirpur Royals, for me, might be the favorite one.
Owais, that concludes it. Thank you so much for joining us on Sports Extra. It's been great having you on the show.
Thanks.
Right, that being said, live action is underway at PTV Sports. You can catch it there. It's eliminated to Rawalakot Hawks is above 140. They still require more than 80-90 runs now. But the fact is that it's going to get tough. It's a run rate of more than 10 runs, so they really need to crank it up now. But whoever wins is going to face Muzaffarabad Tigers in the all-important final on 17th of this month, which will be a cracker and a great end to, I think, an exciting league in its inaugural edition. From that point of view, I think in the next few seasons, we might see it improving, might see it getting bigger as well. But definitely, it's become a brand, and I think KPL has definitely made a mark in world cricket. That being said, from me and the entire team of Sports Extra, until our next show, it's goodbye for now.